Welcome to Midnight Grove, where magical stories light the way to peaceful dreams. Tonight, join us for The Moon's Forgotten Child, a tale of courage, connection, and the enduring power of light. Follow Callan as he embarks on a journey to help a lost moonbeam return home, discovering the strength of selflessness and the magic of balance along the way. Let this enchanting bedtime story guide you gently into the world of dreams. Chapter 1: The Whisper of the Moon. Callan lived in the small, sleepy town of Silver Hollow, nestled in a valley where the nights always seemed brighter than anywhere else. The stars hung low and close, and the moon's silvery light bathed the meadows, hills, and winding cobblestone streets in a gentle glow. For as long as Callan could remember, he had felt a strange connection to the moon, as though it were more than just a faraway orb in the sky. When Callan was a child, his mother would tell him bedtime stories about the moon. She spoke of moonbeams that danced through the forest, lighting secret paths for wandering travelers, and of lunar spirits who whispered forgotten secrets to those who listened closely. "She watches over us all," his mother would say, brushing his hair back with a smile. "The moon's light is a promise that even in the darkest times, we are not alone." But Callan's mother had been gone for years now, and the stories she had told him felt more like distant dreams. The Moon Watcher. At 13, Callan had become known in Silver Hollow as the Moon Watcher. It wasn't a nickname he particularly liked, but he couldn't deny that it suited him. Every clear night, Callan would climb the gentle slopes beyond the village to his favorite hilltop, carrying nothing but a blanket and his father's old lantern. He would lie on the soft grass, staring up at the night sky, his thoughts drifting like clouds across the vast expanse of stars. His father didn't understand. "You're wasting your time out there," he said one evening as Callan laced up his boots by the door. "The moon's not going anywhere, you know." Callan shrugged, grabbing his lantern. "Maybe, but it's not just about the moon." His father raised an eyebrow. "Then what is it about?" Callan hesitated, struggling to find the words. He couldn't explain the pull he felt, the way the moon seemed to reach for him with its quiet light. "It just feels right," he said finally. His father sighed, shaking his head. "Suit yourself, Moon Watcher." The night of the falling stars. It was on one of those nights when the air was cool and crisp that Callan's life changed forever. The sky above Silver Hollow was unusually clear, the stars twinkling like shards of crystal against the inky blackness. Callan had slipped out of the house long after his father had gone to bed, the lantern in his hand casting a soft glow as he made his way up the hill. The hilltop was quiet, save for the faint rustling of the wind through the grass. Callan spread his blanket on the ground and lay back, his hands folded behind his head as he gazed up at the sky. The moon hung low on the horizon, its light brighter than ever, as though it were watching him more intently than usual. Callan felt its pull stronger than ever that night, as though it were reaching for him, wrapping him in its quiet glow. But just as he began to close his eyes, a faint melody drifted through the air, a sound so soft and haunting that it sent shivers down his spine. Callan sat up, his heart pounding. "Hello," he called into the darkness. There was no answer, but the melody grew stronger, wrapping around him like a whisper. The moon's light began to shift, its silvery glow shimmering like liquid. A voice, soft and clear as a bell, filled the air. "Callan," it said. Callan scrambled to his feet, clutching his lantern tightly. "Who's there?" The moonlight seemed to gather, forming the faint outline of a figure. It was a child, no older than Callan, with hair that glowed like moonbeams and eyes that shimmered like stars. "Callan," the figure said again, its voice steady, "I need your help." The moonbeam's plea. Callan stared at the glowing figure, his mind racing. What are you?" "I am a moonbeam," the figure said simply, "a piece of the moon lost in the storm." "A storm?" Callan frowned. "But it hasn't rained in weeks." "It's not here," the moonbeam replied. "It was long ago, far from this place. I was torn from the moon and cast to earth. I have wandered ever since, searching for a way home." The moonbeam's voice trembled, and its glow flickered faintly. "But I am growing weaker. The longer I remain here, the more the balance of the sky is disrupted. The moon cannot shine as brightly as it once did, and the tides have begun to shift." Callan's brow furrowed. "Why me? What can I do?" The moonbeam stepped closer, its light steady. "You are the only one who can hear my voice, Callan. I do not know why, but the moon has chosen you. Will you help me?" Callan hesitated, the weight of the question settling heavily on his chest. The idea of helping a lost moonbeam felt impossible, like something out of a dream. But the moonbeam's eyes held a quiet desperation that tugged at his heart. "What do I have to do?" he asked. The moonbeam's face brightened with relief. "You must take me to the horizon rift," it said. "It is the only place where I can return to the sky." "Horizon rift?" Callan repeated. "Where is that?" "It lies beyond the forests and mountains," the moonbeam said. "A journey of many nights, but I will guide you if you are willing." Callan glanced back toward the village, where the faint glow of lanterns marked the edge of his home. The thought of leaving everything behind filled him with both fear and excitement. "I'll do it," he said finally. The moonbeam's light flared brightly, wrapping around Callan like a warm embrace. "Thank you," it said softly. "The journey begins." The next morning, Callan packed a small satchel with everything he thought he might need. Bread, cheese, a water skin, and the thick woolen cloak his mother had made him years ago. The moonbeam waited for him on the hilltop, its glow faint in the morning light. As they set off together, Callan felt a strange mixture of excitement and uncertainty. "What happens if we don't make it in time?" Callan asked. The moonbeam's light dimmed slightly. "The moon's light will grow weaker, and the balance of the sky will falter. The tides will shift, and the night will grow darker." Callan shivered, gripping the strap of his satchel. "Then we can't fail," he said firmly. The moonbeam's glow brightened. "No," it said, "we cannot." Chapter 2. The Path to the Horizon Rift. Callan and the moonbeam traveled through the forest as the sun climbed higher in the sky, its golden light dappling the mossy ground. The forest was ancient, its towering trees forming a canopy so thick that only slivers of sunlight pierced through. The moonbeam's glow was faint in the daylight, but its presence remained steady. Callan felt an odd sense of comfort in the moonbeam's company, as though it had always been meant to walk beside him. "You never told me what the horizon rift is," Callan said, breaking the silence. "It is a gateway," the moonbeam replied, its voice soft. "A place where the earth and the sky meet, and where I can return to my home. The rift is hidden, known only to those who seek it with purpose." Callan frowned. "And how will we know when we've found it?" "You will feel it," the moonbeam said simply. The answer didn't exactly ease Callan's nerves, but he nodded and pressed on, his boots crunching against the forest floor. The shadow wolf. As the sun began to dip below the horizon, the forest grew darker, and the air grew colder. Callan pulled his cloak tighter around his shoulders, his breath visible in the cool night air. The moonbeam's glow brightened in the twilight, casting soft light on the path ahead. But as they walked, Callan felt a strange unease, as though they were being watched. "Do you feel that?" he whispered. The moonbeam paused, its light dimming slightly. "Yes," it said. "We are not alone." Before Callan could respond, a low growl echoed through the trees, sending a chill down his spine. "Stay close to me," the moonbeam said, its voice steady but urgent. The growl grew louder, and a pair of glowing eyes appeared in the shadows. A creature stepped into the moonlight, a wolf, its sleek black fur shimmering faintly. Its eyes glowed with an eerie light, and its teeth gleamed as it bared them in a snarl. "What is it?" Callan whispered, his voice trembling. "A shadow wolf," the moonbeam replied. "A creature drawn to the light of the moon. They are dangerous and relentless." The wolf crouched, its muscles coiling as it prepared to leap. Callan's heart raced as he stumbled back, his hand tightening on the strap of his satchel. The moonbeam stepped forward, its glow intensifying. "Leave us," it commanded, its voice firm. The wolf hesitated, its growl fading to a low whine. For a moment it seemed ready to retreat, but then it lunged. Callan barely had time to react. The moonbeam flared brightly, its light enveloping the wolf and forcing it to the ground. The creature yelped, its form dissolving into shadows that melted into the forest floor. Callan stared, his chest heaving. "What was that?" "The shadows are drawn to me," the moonbeam said quietly. "They hunger for the light, but they cannot hold it." Callan shivered, his fear giving way to determination. "Then we need to keep moving," he said. The moonbeam nodded, its light steady once more. "Yes," it said, "we do." The whispering caverns. The forest gave way to a rocky terrain as the night deepened, the trees thinning until only jagged cliffs remained. The path ahead was narrow, winding between towering rock formations that seemed to hum with a low, eerie sound. "What is this place?" Callan asked, his voice echoing faintly. "The Whispering Caverns," the moonbeam said. "A place of echoes and illusions. We must tread carefully." Callan nodded, his grip tightening on his lantern as they entered the caverns. The air was cool and damp, and the sound of dripping water echoed endlessly, making it impossible to tell where it was coming from. As they moved deeper into the caverns, the whispers began. At first they were faint, soft, indistinct murmurs that seemed to come from the walls themselves. But as they walked, the whispers grew louder, forming words that sent shivers down Callan's spine. Turn back, the voices said. You do not belong here. Callan glanced at the moonbeam, his fear growing. Do you hear that? Yes, the moonbeam said, its light flickering slightly. The caverns test the resolve of those who pass through. They will try to deceive you. Do not listen to them. The whispers grew louder, filling the air with a cacophony of voices. Callan stumbled, his thoughts clouded by doubt. You will fail, the voices hissed. The rift is not for you. No, Callan muttered, shaking his head. You're wrong. The moonbeam stepped closer, its light wrapping around him like a protective shield. Stay with me, it said. The light will guide you. Callan took a deep breath, forcing himself to focus on the moonbeam's glow. The whispers began to fade, their power waning in the presence of the light. The horizon rift. As the first light of dawn broke through the caverns, Callan and the moonbeam emerged onto a wide plateau. The sky above was a soft gradient of pink and gold, and the air was filled with a sense of quiet stillness. At the edge of the plateau stood a massive archway made of stone, its surface etched with intricate patterns of stars and moons. A faint light shimmered within the arch, rippling like water. The horizon rift, the moonbeam said, its voice filled with awe. Callan stared, his breath catching in his throat. It's beautiful, he said. The moonbeam stepped toward the archway, its glow intensifying. This is where I must go, it said, but I need your help one final time. What do I have to do? Callan asked. Hold the light steady, the moonbeam said. The rift will open only if the path is clear. Callan nodded, gripping his lantern tightly as the moonbeam approached the archway. Its light flared brightly, illuminating the intricate carvings and sending waves of light rippling through the air. The ground trembled, and the light within the archway began to pulse, growing brighter with each passing moment. Callan's heart raced as he focused on the lantern, its glow steady in his hands. How you're doing it, the moonbeam said, its voice filled with warmth. The light reached its peak and the archway burst open, revealing a swirling expanse of silver and gold. The moonbeam turned to Callan, its eyes shining. Thank you, it said softly. You have done more than you know. Before Callan could respond, the moonbeam stepped into the light and disappeared. The archway shimmered for a moment before fading, leaving only the quiet stillness of the plateau. A quiet sky. Callan stood there for a long time, staring at the empty archway. The sun rose higher, casting warm light over the plateau, but Callan couldn't shake the feeling that something had changed. When he finally returned to Silver Hollow, the moon was brighter than ever, its light steady and unwavering. The village seemed quieter, more peaceful, as though the balance of the sky had been restored. Callan smiled, his heart full of quiet pride. The moonbeam was home and the night had found its light once more. Thank you for spending your evening with us at Midnight Grove. Callan's journey in the Moon's Forgotten Child reminds us that even the smallest acts of kindness can restore balance and bring light to the darkest nights. As you close your eyes, may his story inspire your dreams and remind you that every challenge holds the potential for wonder. Sweet dreams, and join us again soon for another magical tale.